Welcome to another episode of Acoustic Chef. This is Regina.
This is Capel.
This is your girl, Ebony.
And this is Damien. What's good, people?
What's good?
I'm back with another episode. Regina, you looking like you on a luau or something.
I am. I'm feeling good today. Good day.
You got the big straw? What you got?
It's
some
a good
tapioca
day.
or something? Oh,
She's glowing.
This is a watermelon margarita.
That's what's up.
Makes me happy.
I'm still sipping. I done read up on the tequila, so I might be
You got the
flirt this time.
tequila on ice? I got you. And I just got the coffee.
Yeah.
Keep
Cream
it simple
cream?
with my black coffee in my black shaker cup.
Oh, coffee in the shaker.
Keeping it real boring.
I understand the black coffee.
Nah, that's what it is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody good though?
Nah, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Before we get started, I just wanted to share this interesting story with y'all. It's not a personal story. It's something I read. They got this dude in Louisiana who's in prison. He's serving a life sentence for stealing hedge clippers.
Man, I saw that,
I
bro.
I saw that as well.
Did y'all read the article? You like
They not even. Yeah, go ahead.
So what it is he's being held for his sentence was because of like multiple offenses like that 3 strikes you out type thing. So he had 3 previous charges for robbery, simple burglary of something, they were all robbery and they were bigger crimes. But this last one that he did was simply stealing some hedge clippers, and they gave him life. And he's been in prison since 1997. And the angle that they went to try to get his sentence dropped so he could go, well, not dropped, but re-released, is that he has, as a single person, taxpayers have spent $500,000 on him as an individual prisoner. So they were like, if he lived for 20 more years, we would have spent $1 million on this one person being in prison for life for stealing hedge clippers.
That's false, bro. That's a false. Besides that,
I know that's not the reason. I know that's not the reason he shouldn't be in jail. That's just the angle that the prosecution went with it, because they felt like that angle would be more than this is stupid that he's in jail in the first place, that's just the truth of it.
Well, maybe yeah. Well, I was just gonna say maybe we also need to prosecute whoever has bills that high, because I don't understand why it costs that much to house him.
Right.
Like why is that? I mean, that's not what it costs to house myself that long, So I don't know, but I get it. I get what they're trying to do. But hedge clippers, like, so he's.
But it failed though. They
Unified.
The judges that voted on it, they kept him in. They said no. They kept him in prison for whenever, however long it takes for him to die.
Yikes.
Unless it
He's
goes
like
back
a threat.
to court.
He's like a threat to society or something.
No, he's not. No, when I read the
I'm being
title,
sarcastic.
oh yeah, you got me on that one.
Man, but all right. But how do y'all feel about the fact that he knew when he was on his second strike? You know what I'm saying?
No. So this is the thing. I don't know if it was that's what it was. I said that they didn't quote that this was like that 3 strikes law. What they said is they was able to convict him on this based off of the laws that were created years ago that basically focused on black people, the way they could imprison us for simple crimes. And I cannot remember the terminology, but it wasn't the street. It wasn't so I don't think it was, honestly, now that I'm saying it, I don't think it was that 3 strikes, that law that they passed years ago, because they were quoting laws that were passed like in the 60s or 50s or something like that, that pretty much targeted black people. What it is because he was convicted on his past, even though the crime he committed was simple, it was a misdemeanor, they're able to keep him in prison for a long period of time. And they only exercise that kind of they've only exercised those kind of punishments to black people.
Right.
Man, I don't agree with it. I definitely don't agree with it, with the law, because it's, you know what I'm saying, it's lopsided and it's archaic and dilapidated. But at the same time, you as the person that's doing this shit, bruh, like.
Well, no, I'm gonna have to argue with you there, because you gotta have some common sense. But then I will argue that you know, maybe he did have a past. Maybe he couldn't get a job. Hedge clippers. He didn't say, "Oh, this would be dope just to have some hedge clippers in my house." And I'm gonna kill him with this. Clearly, he's trying to make some money or do something to beautify something. Like sometimes people don't have opportunities, and I'm not saying I can't stand thieves. I can't stand liars. But I also have to get to the root of why he was doing what he was doing. If he was trying to better himself and every opportunity he had exhausted, then that has to be taken into account as well.
But how are we going to take that into account? Because we all know a lot of people that are lazy, that aren't doing what they're supposed to do. While we out here working hard every day, they just sitting there, you know.
Yeah,
eating
but
What was he gonna do with the hedge clippers? Did the article
It
say
didn't,
that?
yeah,
I
it
didn't
didn't,
get.
it didn't go into his rationale and why he did
I would
it.
assume that he's gonna clip some hedges.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
want to
I'm gonna
know.
assume.
I want to hear him say, I didn't have any other way. I needed them to because I wanted to work. I wanted to become a productive member of society. It wasn't my plan to become a career criminal. I was gonna give them back after I finished my job. You know, like I want to hear what he has to say.
I said I
Look,
tried that too before.
I
and
agree.
got
I agree
fired.
with both of y'all. I agree with. I agree with Damien and Ebony. I agree with Ebony because she's right. Like we don't know the circumstances of why he was going through what he was going through for him to be sentenced that high. That should have never happened. But I also agree with Damien is that this dude been arrested 3 times prior before that, maybe more. But they cited 3 times that he was arrested, and it's like so. At some point, you have to take accountability for being arrested
I agree.
because you're messing up. You
Forever
know,
though, your whole
no,
life.
that's the
Yeah,
part
no,
that I
that's
agree
not
with
that's
Ebony.
not
That's the
right.
part that I agree with Ebony is
No, that's not right.
there has to be balances to this.
Yeah,
You
straight up.
you should always serve time based on your crime.
The crime should fit the
Yeah.
punishment.
Like even if your history is taken into account, it should still based on the type of criminal history
It
you
should be
have.
violent. Yeah, if you got violent crime after violent crime, then yeah, lock him up for the rest of his life. But you talking about somebody that's a thief. I don't
Yeah.
like
Not
Ebony said, I
even
don't.
not even armed robbery. He's not even
Molesters
holding
Yeah,
get less
up.
time.
It's
yeah, that's
Molesters and
simple.
rapists get
Yeah,
less time than this.
it's
So,
yeah, that's
ridiculous.
yeah,
And
that is
on all
that's
fronts.
disgusting. Yeah, most definitely or whatever. It got people that's doing like in Cali, man. It's easy for somebody to get 5 years to life. That means they may like on the third strike, they may serve 5 years, but then they're on parole for the rest of their life or something like that or whatever. So if you commit another crime, then you you going back to jail. It don't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean it's definitely the crime don't fit the punishment. If the crime fit the punishment, then it is what it is. But yeah, that's crazy. He shouldn't be in there for the rest of his life for some damn hedge clippers. And like you say, even what he did before, if it wasn't violent, just keep putting him in jail until he get it. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
I
the
mean,
problem. Jail is not rehabilitative. That's the problem. It just
Exactly.
teaches criminals how to be
what you mean?
better
It's not
criminals.
rehabilitative. What did you mean?
It's called correctional.
No,
It's not. Nothing is
What's not
corrected.
correct? Yeah,
I
nothing's
can only
being
say
corrected.
this because and my brother has been in and out of jail for so long, and it's always like he'll say to you, "Man, I only got 2 felonies. That's it." And I'm like, "You're not supposed to have any." But a lot of the stuff he learned how to do, like the stuff that he does, he learned it the first time he got locked up, which the first time wasn't even his fault. So it turned him,
Yeah,
being
I
locked
feel
up
that.
turned him into this, manipulative type of person where he's always trying to get over, and until he learns, it won't happen in jail because it's not rehabilitative, it's not correctional. I know very few people who've been to jail and have come out and say, you know what, that fixed me, I'm going to walk the straight and narrow. No, he comes
Well, they
out a
all
better
say that.
criminal. Yeah,
They all say that though.
they say it, but then as soon as the opportunity arrives or things get hard for him, he's back to doing the same thing he was doing. And I love my brother. My brother we will get together and set it on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my brother. But I just can't get past the fact that I'm like, you're not a good criminal. You keep getting caught. Like, I'm surprised you haven't been on World's Dumbest Criminals because you're not getting any better at it. So let's do something different because jail is not helping you, obviously. And they keep arresting you, and you get out and you do the same thing again. So you're back on the radar. So I don't know what the answer is, but I know it's not putting this guy in jail for hedge
No.
And then
clippers.
it's not
So
fair
ridiculous.
because if you took a white person that committed the same crime, they wouldn't do that, and we've seen this
No,
stuff over and over. I witnessed it myself. Like I was
of course not.
it's a, sadistic judge in Alexandria that I had to deal with one time. Sadistic because I know personally that he's bragged to his constituents and colleagues about the time that he's given people. Like he's bragged that he's given over like 100,000 years of time. I think that's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? But I was in court. I got there early and stuff like that or whatever. And I'm sitting in there and they bring in this guy, this white dude or whatever, that had violated his probation and stuff like that. He had attacked his child's mother and pretty much kidnapped his daughter virtually. You know what I'm saying? In which on I guess on if you're on the outside looking in, or from a law aspect, that's what happened. But on a minute aspect, okay, he jumped on this girl and then just took his kid or whatever. But he wasn't kidnapping the kid, nothing like that. It wasn't as serious as it was. But he did violate his probation, and he had
Probation.
been drinking and everything. So this lady clerk, whatever she was, brought him in to talk to the judge, which I don't even think that's lawful because I don't think you're supposed to be able to talk to the judge about your case, about your situation or whatever before the trial. That's what the trial is for. You know what I'm saying? And so the judge, I'm sitting right there, I'm not even a fly on the wall, I'm virtually in their conversation. I'm only a few rows back from where he's sitting or whatever. He talked, I could hear the entire conversation. He's telling him, he told him, tell me what happened. Be 100% honest with me. Don't bullshit me. That's what he told him. And the dude told him exactly what happened or whatever. You know what this dude said? He said, well, look, it's okay. We all make mistakes. I'm gonna give you we're gonna put you in some AA or some type of alcoholic meetings and stuff like that, some rehabilitative measures and stuff like that he wanted to take to help you get better. And don't worry about the probation and stuff. I'll take care of that, but I don't want to see you in here again. I'm like, wow, that's how easy it is. And I'm not saying the dude didn't deserve it. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying that he should have, let's lock him away and throw away the key. But I'm saying for the black guy that came in after him, I want the same consideration that he may have made a mistake, a minute mistake. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
gonna lock him away and throw away the key because he made a mistake? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody got hurt. Well, the girl, of course. I mean, but it was more so mental abuse than anything or whatever. So like, come on, man. That's
Yeah.
that's outrageous
I,
or
I
emotional.
agree. I agree that it needs to be a balance. And of course, we want, the same fair treatment. I think sometimes where it does get a little tricky, and not in these situations, is that when people are given second chances and they go out and create a violent crime, then it's like, hey, well, you let them out. I did see something recently in Houston where I believe that someone was hurt. I don't know if it was a fatal situation, but that person, based on, trying to, not hold people in for minor offenses,
Yeah,
was let out and then it cost somebody's life. So I understand that those are outliers. So we definitely still need to be fair, but,
that can happen. I mean,
yeah, it can, but it's not.
look, man, I know this is off topic, but I read a stat, man, that kind of like blew my mind or whatever. Do y'all know how much, like, if you just had to guesstimate how much money annually the black church is bringing in, just
The black church as a whole or
nationally,
any
as a whole, just nationally, just
In
one
the
guess.
billions. It's in the
yeah,
billions.
Well,
billions?
you know, I don't even want to be in this conversation.
The black church is bringing in anywhere between 10 to 13, 14 billion dollars a year. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we talk about our economic disparities and stuff like that or whatever. And on one of the last episodes, we was talking about investing in black banks and stuff like that or whatever. Do you know that a lot of the shenanigans could be cut out if we had that 12 to 13 billion invested
Right,
in a bank that was going to actually look out for our best interests and not
right.
just take from us, but also be like, look, man, y'all doing great in the, to us financially. So let us help you out as well. You know what I'm saying? When y'all come in and get loans and for whatever personal reasons, vehicles and all of that type of stuff, and businesses, businesses is what we need,
Right, right,
loans
right.
for. We're not just gonna shut you down. We're gonna treat you with the same respect that we treat everybody else with. If your credit is right and all of the other circumstances are right, then let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna help you build your credit. We're gonna
The
give.
black church could help us.
Yeah,
So
they definitely could.
I know of some black churches who've actually done that. I'm not saying they have, well, there are a couple that have their own banks as well, but there's this one black church in particular who paid off all of the debt of, they picked a few families every year. They pay off all of their debt, except for their house and their cars, but all the other debt, credit debt, anything else they had was paid off. And then they helped them reestablish their credit. And one of the expectations is that they don't make any major purchases during the time in which they're being assisted with their credit and things like that. And it puts them in a better position. The church did this. It wasn't the bank or like some other credit, entity or whatever. The church helped them do that, and they do this every year for a few families in their church. I believe if every black church, especially like the mega churches, took this same stance, then a lot of us will be in a lot better position as far as our credit worthiness and things like that. That's just one example that I know of. But even smaller churches have like a benevolence fund where they actually give back. The problem with it is that some churches over time start making they start I don't even know how to say this. They have rules around what they can give or who they can give their benevolence. And so for a member who's been part of a church for a long, long time, and you fall on hard times and you apply for some of that help from the benevolence fund and they tell you no after you've given over years and years, and you've given and they say no to you, it puts a bad taste in your mouth, and it makes you think about like all this money going into the church. What are you all doing with it? Why aren't you investing back in the community? So I've seen it both ways.
It's
As
it's in it's in the building fund. You know,
Yeah, go
all the
ahead.
money in the building fund. They always got a new building being set up. It's kind of like NASA. We we doing more research. We need more money. As soon as we use the money for this,
Silly.
we gotta start building up to use the money for the same thing that we just bought.
Like
Nah, I'm just joking.
the
But
building fund never goes away. I mean,
it
it's
doesn't.
always, we're done with this, we're gonna build this, or we're gonna help the kids, or we're gonna build a school, or we're gonna build a recreational youth center, which all of those are good things because here's my take on it. Growing up in the church and being a daughter of a pastor and all of this kind of stuff, I just feel like if you're a devout church member, before you turn to public assistance or the world, you should be able to turn to your church. If you've been there, you've given, you've helped out, you volunteered, or you've given back to the community and you're working in that church in that capacity, then you should be able to turn to your church and say, hey, I'm having a hard time right now. This is why, this is what happened, whatever it is. I need some help. And the church should be able to say, I got you. We got you. You have been here. They need to recognize your dedication and your contribution and say, we're going to help. And if not, if it doesn't go that way, then at least I feel like at this point, what's the point of being there if I'm there and I don't, if something happens and I can't depend on you to catch me when I'm falling.
Yeah.
So
We're the Well, see, I'm like, all right, I respect the love fund, the benevolence offering, and all of that type of stuff
I
or
don't.
whatever. But it's just it's a band-aid. It's not helping you evolve like from a generational standpoint. It's just putting a band-aid. So basically, I'm still teaching you to work at McDonald's rather than to own the McDonald's that you work for. You know what I'm saying?
that too,
We
that there
need that
needs to be
type of
that too.
Yeah, we need that type of
That type
structure
of
or whatever. So, but there are people that just want to work at the McDonald's. No
And that's
problem with
fine. We
that.
need them. Yeah.
Exactly. But there are also people that want to own it and they have a prospectus. You know what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
have business background and acumen and all of that type of stuff. And those people are not getting the proper
The
respect and they're
opportunities,
not getting the
right.
opportunity exactly or whatever.
Yeah.
If a
So
person, oh, go ahead, Capel.
Well,
here's
okay.
here's the problem with the church being part of the solution, because I know nothing is ever going to be the solution as a whole. But here's the problem: most of the people that are really into the churches and over churches, they're in a certain generation. The younger generation has starting to not starting. They've shied away from the church. Even in my generation, people have
Yeah,
started
I
to
was gonna
shy away
say.
from going to church. So these people that have these thoughts, this innovation, the will and the understanding of how the church could be incorporated into helping the black community,
Yeah.
they don't really believe in church. They don't really want to go to church. It doesn't mean that they don't believe in God. It doesn't believe they don't consider themselves to be spiritual. But a lot of people don't really follow religion as much anymore, especially in the younger generations. And the
Yeah,
older generations, they have their mindset on how things should be and how things need to go, and how, older generations tend to like the way things are. They struggle with change. And that, because of the dynamic of the change that needs to happen, and the people who need to be a part of the change, how far away they are when it comes to this particular
Right.
topic, I don't see the church as being a part of what's going to help change the black community at all. That is a gap to me that's too far spread.
yeah, it is definitely far spread. But I will say this: when I go into the predominantly black communities, like we all see, there's about 10 churches just on the same street, just like there's 10 liquor stores on the same street. To me, it's the same. And I honestly feel like it should be a law. Like you, just like you can't open a strip club right across the street from a school, it shouldn't be so many churches, and especially if they're not pouring back into that community. You
Yeah,
have
they should be buying stuff.
wait, hold on. You have old people that will, give up their medicine money to
Hmm.
pay the tithes. So I think the church is, I think it's a mandate because, yeah, you're right. It's a disconnect between the generations, but then you still have a lot of people that are still in these communities that are still religious churchgoers. I think the church should be the original blessing circle. Everybody wants you to put 250, 500 in a pot, but no, I should not. If I'm paying into a church, whether it's tithes, whatever you want to say, the offering, love, benevolence, everything, I shouldn't have to wait until I need a kidney for you to help me or before my lights are off. That should be a requirement to me. Every church is structured under a government entity. It's still like a nonprofit organization. There still has to be laws. There's still procedures and policies and rules and regulations, regardless if people say, oh, it's just based on the Bible. No, it's a government entity. To the laws that should, the board of directors or whatever they're called, or if they're deacons or whatever, it should be, hey, okay, of course, we want our pastor to look nice in this car. We want our building to be the best building in the country, whatever. But first, we're going to work on the family inside the house. So you shouldn't have to wait till you're sick or your bills are off. Let's find out what all of our congregation needs. Let's figure out how can we help. Let's be this blessing circle so that my congregation can match me in this helicopter or whatever. I'm not here to count people pockets and what they're doing with their money. If you say God told you to do it, go ahead with it. But there's no reason that somebody should be homeless and then their kids getting taken away while you're over here, or your church is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but your gap between spirituality is getting wider and wider and wider. So I am against it. I just feel like the church should be like in the 60s, even though I don't even agree with like how my grandparents and everything think, it's all in all, where we organized, you went for education, you went for, to hold meetings and everything. Like it should be a safe place for everyone in that community, and it's not, so it is. I feel like when you're paying tithes, I know people don't want to think of it like this, but it's like a membership. Like I pay to go to the gym, I can do everything in that gym. I should be able to do the same within the church. I'm paying my tithes, my just due. I'm giving my time, my sweat equity into this church. You're going to get a bigger building, and then I'm over here dying, and you may not even, I have to schedule an appointment for you to even host my wedding and my funeral. So
Straight up.
what am I here for?
Ain't it, man? Pastor got his little booze that he got to take care of. He got the new Benz and the BMW. The BMW got the run flat tires, so they cost a little bit more and all that.
I mean, yeah, you got your pimps in the pulpit. Every denomination has seen that. Where the leaders of and it might not even start out that way. A lot of times it starts out that I want to help my community. I see all of the
Yeah.
disparities going on around me, so I'm going to help. And then you get to a certain level, and then all of a sudden things start to switch around, and you see things like that. You see the pastor has his own private entryway and the pastor's quarters, and he's held up on this pedestal that people put him on, and he's just a person just like everybody else. And I think that's where the mentality
Yeah.
And one
has been, and in an older generation, the mentality has been there where the pastor is expected to be kind of this all powerful thing because he got a direct line to God, but he's still just a person like everyone
Like us,
else.
yeah.
And it's
yeah,
a fallacy to think that way because nobody is perfect. And so
yeah.
the pastor messes up just like everyone else. So to put all of your hopes and dreams into that one thing, that's a problem. But I agree. The church should be able to say, here, let us teach you how to get your finances in order. Let us teach you how to build wealth, generational wealth, not just something to have right now, but so that your legacy, you've built a legacy, and when you're gone, your grandkids and those kids and the kids of those kids are okay, and they learn from that. So a church needs to be all encompassing, especially if they want younger generations to come in,
Come back.
and pastor's the only one prospering in the whole situation, then there's
And see,
I don't see
yeah,
a point.
and that's a problem that I have. And this, one of the thing you said, Ebony, that I agree with, but in a situation like this, I feel a little bit differently. Is when you say you don't count people's pockets, and I don't either. But when you are working for a service organization, a nonprofit organization, if you're getting rich and you're and the and the reason you're getting rich is because of the organization and
Well,
it's
that's
a
true.
nonprofit. I want to count. I'm counting your pockets. If
Yeah.
I'm a part of that
Yeah.
process, I'm asking questions. How come you showing up in a helicopter? First of all, there is no, and I know what happens. I know when you said that it's because it happens. You see it with some pastors who got out these mega churches, and they are all extravagant. What in the hell are you ever going to show up in a helicopter for? Like, what possible rationale can you give the congregation for showing up in a helicopter
Cause
or a
They're coming
limousine?
from their church in a
yeah,
different city.
exactly. They're coming from the other church that's in the Woodlands, and it take like 30 minutes to get from the Woodlands to Spring. You know
So
what I'm
that
saying?
that's the reason. But what is the purpose? Because there are people who have other churches and they're pastored by other people.
Right.
They just help build other churches and other locations. They don't preach at all the churches. So
Right.
therefore that helicopter money didn't even need to be purchased. That didn't even need to be purchased. That money could have been somewhere else because
God
you
told
have
them to get it.
exactly, so like if you a nonprofit organization, like I'm a principal, we get money at our school. Well, I'm assistant principal, sorry. When we get money at our
Yeah, trying to
school,
inflate
you
your
know,
trying to inflate your status. Nah, go
we
ahead.
get we get a budget, but we get donations. Different schools, I'm not talking about our school in particular, but different schools, they get donations from people. Like, you got to have paperwork. You have to have documentation showing where that money is going, how it's being used. That should be the same process for like a church or any other nonprofit. When you get, if you are a pastor and people want to personally gift you and say thank you for everything, okay, I don't really have too much of a problem with that. But when money is going into your church, there should be a very clear process for everybody to see that budget and how that money is being spent. So if somebody says helicopter, $200,000, well, hold up,
You
why we
might
got a helicopter? Yeah, I
you
mean,
better
I'm just
add.
saying.
Oh, okay. About to
When
say
was the
add another.
vote? Why I didn't get invited to the voting meeting?
Nah,
Well,
what?
but
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to move on, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's move on because
Yeah.
we're gonna spend
Let's
Yeah,
all
we
move
day
got
on.
talking
this.
about the black
Yeah.
church.
So so today, we got this Mars versus Venus. This is gonna be a very fun conversation. So I was on social media about a week ago, and I'm gonna read the post. Now the conversation is not necessarily about the post per se, but I'm gonna explain. The post said, "How long do you gotta date someone before you take a vacation?" And then somebody responded, like in the Twitter. This is the whole like picture. As long as she takes to save up her portion of the trip. Now, it was put to be funny, right? It wasn't supposed to be serious. But here's some of the comments. This is from a woman. Thankful I haven't dated men with this type of mentality. Even when I've offered to pay for things, they decline. Best advice to a 50-50 man is to find a 50-50 woman. Okay. So separate hotels and flights so I can meet a real man, of course. Why I love old school men. I'm so glad I'm off the market. Ladies, don't go for this BS. He cheap or broke. I'm offended by the idea, the absolute nerve. This a dude say she better bring her portion. Another chick says, well, he's not the one. No vacation required. And this is a chick right here saying, since when is a vacation one person's responsibility? So, and this was said some people are clearly for sale. So it was mixed, but not mostly mixed. Most of the comments that I read from women were, this man needs to pay for everything. He needs to take care of it. And there were some women sprinkled in there that were saying, that's crazy. Why should he have the responsibility to take care of the whole, like everything? And then there were some men who was like, that's what a man's supposed to do. They're supposed to man up and they're supposed to take care of the woman and pay for everything. But most of the men, of course, was like, that's crazy. It shouldn't be my responsibility if we not married, or we not like engaged, or we not that committed. Then why am I spending all this? Why is my responsibility to spend this money?
Okay, I can't be quiet. I can't be quiet no
Wait,
more.
hold up.
I can't.
I just gave all the perspectives, but so what we talking about is not necessarily the vacation, but just a in general idea of this idea. Well, go ahead.
Let me comment on the vacation. Let me comment on that. I need to comment on the vacation. Okay. Here's how I feel. If who invited who? If I said, hey, come on, let's take this vacation, and I here go all the arrangements. I just need your checkbook or your credit card, then that's wrong. If he says, hey babe, I want to take you somewhere and I've made all the arrangements, all you got to do is pack your bags and look cute, then okay, go off then, like pay for it. But if it's a joint venture and you sit and have a conversation and say, hey, we haven't been anywhere in a while, what do you want to do? Oh, okay, let's go here. All right, well, where do you want to stay? If you make the arrangements and the decision together, then both of you need to pay for it together. But if he's the one who said, let's go, I mean, I'll use my money for souvenirs or whatnot. So
but that's the thing. You just gave context to 3 or 2 different situations that make sense, that I have no problem with. I have no problem with the way you phrase those situations. These comments are being made without context. And when you don't have context and you make a comment, to me, that tells me what you believe as a whole.
right.
So go
Give
ahead.
the second part, Capel.
Well, the second part of what we're going to talk about?
Yes.
Yeah, so the conversation really is like not necessarily about the vacation, but about in general, like the mentality of men paying for the dates or paying to go out or just paying for stuff for women. Like that mentality of roles have changed. They truly have changed in society now. But a lot of women, men too, but I'm gonna get to them, but a lot of women, they preach about the equality and that they want to be treated the same, and they want equal pay, and they want all that. But then a lot of times in relationships, a lot of women, they want that man to have that same role, and
I'm one of those women. I'm one of those women.
So we want to talk about that.
Yeah. So first of all, personally, I believe in being equal but not same. Okay, I do believe in gender roles. There's certain things that I feel like a man should do. I'm not gonna say, oh, because we're equal, we both gonna change the oil in my car. We're gonna both. Now I know how to change a tire, but I don't expect to. You're gonna do it. We're gonna go on a date. I expect you to open the door for me. Now I know some women say, oh, I can pull my own chair. No, I still believe in that. So I do believe that the man is going to take the lead when he's courting me or dating me. I believe if you can't afford to date and do that, you can't afford to date, don't do it. But I also feel like a woman should sometimes offer, but it should never be the mandate here. I go on dates and sometimes I say, oh no, I got it. Now I'm married, it don't matter. But before, I may say, if I like him enough, I might, do something because I really want to see him, or I want to surprise him, or I want to do that. But I've always felt it was a choice. But I felt like anytime a man wanted to date me and he was trying to pursue me, then he knew he was financially liable for whatever went on during the date. So that is my take on it. I don't want my daughter dating a man where we going Dutch. I never agree with Dutch unless we friends. We friends, we going together, we Dutch. But if you trying to get more than just my, seeing my face or talking to me over the phone, then yeah, that's the investment. Because I will say this, when we do get into a relationship, I'm gonna bring way more than money can ever buy. And that's just what I offer. Now I know many women don't have a, not many. Some women don't bring anything to the table. They just want to take pockets and tell everybody, look what I got this man to do. I get it, and it has put a really put a damper on women that really just want to be loved and taken care of in a certain way. Because I can take care of myself, but it really feels good when a man shows up and wants to wine and dine me and doesn't ask for anything, you know, to that. So I don't want my daughter dating a man that's like, oh, we can go Dutch and you should be paying and you should do this because we equal. No, we equal, but we ain't the same.
So one
I
question.
think you shouldn't get
Wait, hold on,
involved.
hold on. Did you say your marriage is 50-50?
No, I mean, it's 50-50, but not like 50-50 money. I do more work at home. I do more with the kids. Honestly, it's probably
So
I do
when I
more.
say 50-50, I mean like as a whole, not like in one area here, one area here, just like as a whole, would you say your relationship is 50-50?
Decision making. I have a man that respects 50-50 my thoughts, but as far as the work that I put in, which is invaluable and you can't put a price tag on it, no.
Okay. Regina, I mean, Damon, you can come in if you want to, but I want to hear Regina's because I want to respond to both of the ladies at one time. So I want to soak it all in before I respond. So if you don't mind, Damon, let Regina go.
I agree with what Ebony is saying. I definitely agree. I don't have any daughters. I have sons. And I teach them that, it's primarily their responsibility. Like they can't get out here being scrubs. And because whoever they date is gonna look at me and be like, what did your mom teach you? What kind of family did you grow up in? So that's one. But my husband he takes care of just about everything. I pay a few bills, but he pays the mortgage. And so I mean, I'm comfortable. I like being comfortable. I like being there. There are certain times where I'm like, you could at least do this, but then I see him out cutting the grass. I'm not cutting any grass. Or the boys, taking out the trash. I'm not touching any trash. I'm not killing no bugs, spiders. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not power washing nothing. They take care of all of that. They take care of the outside of the house. I can handle the inside of the house. We both work. We both have jobs. We both work. And we both contribute. And when it comes to decision making, like purchasing a house right now, like we've had some knockdown dragouts over this house, but we came to a decision together because I liked one house, he liked the other. And I said, okay, we can get the house you like, but you got to let me have this, and this. And he felt like it was a good compromise. So, I mean, I like the house, but I'm also getting the things that I want in this particular house. So all of our decision making is 50-50. And if we have a disagreement, instead of having a big fight in front of the kids, we don't even do that anymore. We come to a quiet place, we sit down and we talk. I don't scream and yell, none of that stuff happens. We come to an agreement, we let the kids know, and we live our life. But it's a partnership.
Take it back
It's
to
not
dating, though. Take it back more
Yeah,
specific.
even
because that's
But
what
you're dating to
even in
marry. But you're
yes.
dating to marry. It should be intentional. If you're just
He
out here to get some ass or get a meal, then thought process will be different. But we're dating with intentionality. So
Right.
is the
If you're dating, yeah, if you're dating with intention, then absolutely. He paid for every date we went on. When he did say, "Hey, let's go on vacation,"
look at
he
Damon's face.
when he said let's, and even when I offered to pay, he was like, "No, I got it, because I invited you." And even when he offered to take me on vacation years ago, he went to Australia and he was like, "Hey, do you want to go? You come too?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to Australia. I don't have the money for that right now." And he said, "I didn't ask you for any money." And I was like, "Oh,
I know
okay,
that's right.
you might be the
Okay.
one. You might be the one." I didn't go because I didn't have time. I was doing other things. But just the fact that he offered and said, "I didn't ask you for any money,"
but see,
I was
Regina,
so impressed.
okay.
I was like,
But
"Okay."
see, Regina, everything
Right?
that you explained, in my opinion, is like your mentality is not the mentality of a woman that's saying you got to do it. Your first word were, "I don't have the money for that." That tells me that your mentality is not, I'm not expecting you to take care of me hand and foot everything. I'm not expecting you to be my savior and to pay for everything. And when I read these comments that these women put, that's what I get from what they're saying. Now, they're without context, but again, when you make a
Right.
comment on something that's very broad without context, I take your comment as how you are as a person. Both of y'all explained to me what y'all explained to me was very reasonable. I have a little slight difference of opinion in some of it, but I'm gonna let Damien talk because he was trying to talk first, and I don't want to like. Go
I
ahead,
really
man.
don't. It is what it is, man. You
Damon, you
probably
have daughters though. Come on, tell
I
us.
do. I have daughters, and I'll speak on that first. I want my daughters to be treated like women, like young ladies, like women, because I do believe in gender, I guess, specificity. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to being with a mate, I do believe that we're different. Women are more nurturing and caring than men are. You know what I'm saying? We're more, I guess, I don't want to say brutal, but we have a different, machismo. You know what I'm saying? We're different. You know what I'm saying? Women, I treat the lady folk a little bit different than I would. Like I wouldn't talk to y'all the way I talk to Capel. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my
Thankfully.
brother, and I know he can handle it, and that's how we communicate with each other. We call it locker room banter, I guess. That's what Trump called it.
Uh
But
oh. I hope y'all
but
not
as
grabbing
far as
them.
I wouldn't treat the ladies like because y'all a little bit, possibly a little bit more sensitive than
Oh,
we
wait
are
a
as
minute now.
as a whole.
I
As a
mean,
whole,
You
as
know,
a
and
I,
whole.
we can
I
talk
agree.
about
I
that in
agree.
this conversation too,
We
because
have
what he's
we
saying
have
is true.
emotional differences. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that
that is true.
women
No, no, no.
I'm
It's
not
true.
saying
We just
women
Ex-
are more emotional, but we have
exactly.
emotional
I was
differences
gonna
with each
say
other.
they ain't because I seen men cry in
Oh
public
man, well,
places,
it's not just
at
You know
about
work,
what?
crying.
giving
It's not just about
That's
speeches.
crying.
that ain't got to do. That ain't got to do with what we talking about.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
I'm not just talking
okay,
about crying. I just mean emotional differences. I'm not
that is
saying
true.
crying or nothing like that. But
okay.
I'm not going to get in. I would never try to impede on my daughter's thought processes as far as what a man is supposed to do and what a woman is supposed to do. To me, I think certain things you kind of have to figure out on your own or whatever. I'm not one of the people that I don't really believe in chivalry. Whoever came up with that, I want to punch him in the face or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't no chivalry. Like that's weak. As a
No, I
as
don't. I
a
don't think that's weak at all. And
Opening
I,
doors and pulling
Wait,
yeah,
out
wait,
chairs is
that's
weak.
but let me
wait.
eating the last food. Like, ask me, do I want that last bite? Don't you know? I want you to think of me like you're protected.
but
Like, think of me, not just think of yourself.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Yeah, I'm going
yeah.
to protect. I'm going as the man. I'm going to protect you. I'm a protector, or whatever. But when you try to reach over and get some, eat some of my food or something, no.
And you gonna stab her with the
But
fork.
see,
I'm
you
a,
know, so no, go ahead,
Yeah.
Damien, because I
you
want to jump
ordered
in.
you
But
ordered what you wanted. You know what I'm
But I
saying?
want to taste
And
yours
I
too. I want to
and I
taste
ordered
yours too.
and I ordered what I wanted. You know what I'm
Y'all
saying?
let y'all let the colonizers come and take yours. Let me have some of it.
Let me have a bite.
I feel
so,
that, but go ahead. What,
nah,
Bill?
man, go
Let
ahead,
me.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so am I gonna lay my jacket down, you know what I'm saying, so you can walk over puddles and I'm gonna
Well,
open the
I'm gonna
door
speak.
for you and all of that type of stuff or whatever. I can do it, but you got to be willing to do the same thing for me if I need you to do it for me.
Of
You know what I'm
course,
saying?
if you
So
need, yeah.
I would never be in a relationship where I'm 100% the giver. I'm sorry. When I was, and I'm speaking specifically on dating, I'm not talking about marriage and all of that stuff because me and my wife 50-50. I'm the breadwinner, so of course I do more because I'm the breadwinner or whatever. But if she wouldn't have no problem, dishing out money just as well or whatever. But let's just talk specifically dating. If we, I ain't gonna lie, just because of the way I grew up, first date, that's on me, no doubt. I'm gonna just do it just because or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The second date, it can be on me, but if you're not at least offering, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, I like your company. Woo, woo, you know what I'm saying? I got you this time, man. Then okay, I'm taking note of that. Third is it might not be a third date. You know what I'm saying? Because then I'm gonna let you gonna have to text, call me, whatever. Hey, what's up? Let's kick it. And if you do that, then I'm expecting, what's popping on the other end or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And are we going to the lobster house or whatever? And I'm dishing out money again. You know what I'm saying? Because I've done been in situations where I'm like, I remember one time, and I'm sorry to see, baby, wife. I apologize. Please don't get mad. This is way before your time. But
Disclaimer.
this is way before your time. Shout out to C baby. But we had met these girls from H Town, in New Orleans or whatever. You know what I'm
They weren't
saying?
from H-Town.
Nah, that was from H Town. And so, because I done visited her and everything in H Town. So
Okay.
she came to Louisiana or whatever. This when I was still living in the boot. And she brought her home girl. So I'm like, hey, see, you want to tag along? You know what I'm saying? Cool. Man, these girls must have ordered all kind of lobster bisque and filet mignon and all kind of stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? Me and her was just partners. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. We was just, we was in a
Yeah.
platonic relationship or whatever. Was there some entanglement stuff going on? Possibly, but that's not, that doesn't mean anything because we just friends or whatever. But these girls ordered all of this stuff and then expected us to pay for they meal without having a understanding beforehand. Look, we came out here, we some broke bees, we ain't got no bread. You know what I'm saying? we expecting y'all to we expecting y'all to pay. I'm just joking with the bees, but I'm like, bro, how you
Did you
gonna
pay?
out? Man, yeah. Always it was gonna be a scene,
Did
and
they
I
offer
wasn't.
anything in return, like
Man, they didn't.
WAP?
Uh-oh.
Man, they didn't.
Not the
Nah,
WAP.
it wasn't gonna be nothing to offer because my mentality at the time was, I'm tucking the deuces at you now, whatever, because you pulled this move. You know what I'm saying? That ain't cool. That ain't real. You know what I'm saying? Like for nobody. So anyway, with the whole vacation thing, even if I offer you, hey, look, man, let's hit up Jamaica or something like that, and we dip. You expecting me to pay for everything? Like I'm paying for your meals. If you want to go shopping, I got to pay for that.
Oh no, no,
Not
no.
all
Want me
I
to
that.
don't
pay for
I
your?
don't I don't think that I mean, I know that there's some women that think that way, but I think that, and I understand the
That's
post.
what they saying in the comments.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's no way I'm gonna go to the Louis V store. I just got a trip to Jamaica. I expect you to pay all that. But the thing is, there are some men that do that, and that's why women think that they are girls that are immature think that they can do. I have two boys and two girls. I teach my sons they're gonna pay, but I teach my daughters to not expect. Well, I'm not going to say not to expect. I do want them to expect, but I want them to be able to take care of themselves, right?
Right.
So just like I'm going to teach my daughter how to change a tire, I'm going to teach my son, your girl should never change a tire. So my thing is, I think that there's some things that we're not, because I wasn't taught how to date. I just saw what people were doing, and things like that. So I don't think girls always know, but we do know that the man, what we all think that the man is going to take care of the things. Like I said, I just feel like you just said, the girls came from Houston, they did all this, they were broke, they expected something, but just like they should have communicated with you, you probably should have communicated with them. Hey, I'm glad y'all come.
You ordering your food. What
Huh?
do I have to communicate when you ordering your food? Like
Well, my thing is, what I would tell my son, that most women going to expect that you're going to be taking care of this, so you need to make it
what
clear.
kind of but okay, let's think about this. Where did that expectation come from? Because you weren't born with romanticism and
And
romantic
that's
thoughts in your
exactly.
mind.
So let me jump in because that's exactly where I'm going with my
Is
part of
that
this
not?
conversation.
Okay, go
It's
ahead.
not in your
So
DNA.
No, it's not our DNA, but it's all around us. It's
Came
the
from
content, even the
movies,
things we movies, the things we
movies and
watch.
Instagram and
Yeah.
TV, and
So
get
let's
off
think
the
about
social
gender
media. These
roles. Let's
kids
think
don't know
about gender
nothing.
roles. Gender roles for too long have been associated with tasks and not mentality. With Damon, when you said that, when you say you believe in gender roles, I say the same thing. Same thing with you, Ebony. I believe in gender roles. But when Damon said women like the more nurturing, like they're caregivers, like that is a natural instinct within women. Men are natural protectors. And it's not about their relationship with somebody that they love. It's about how they are with the people that they love. Men are natural protectors. I protect my boys. I protect my mama. I protect my friends. Like I want to be that person that I'm not want to be, but I'm naturally that person that when somebody I care about is being attacked, I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm that person, and that's how men are for the most part. Women, y'all are like that too, but y'all are more natural. Y'all are more nurturers. So we often associate these tasks with roles, and it's not about the task. It's about the people. So the problem that I have with this is when your mentality shows me that you're focused on a task that I'm supposed to do. My money is not what makes me the man that I'm going to
That's
be for
true.
you.
Facts.
They got people that's dirt poor, but the woman would never leave that man because he makes sure that she got everything she needs. She's emotionally locked to that person for the rest of her life. Unless he do some dumb shit, she ain't gonna never leave this dude, money or no money. So that the task of money is the problem that I have because that's what we always are associating with roles.
You're
And
right.
so when I'm reading this and I'm listening at like these conversations, I'm hearing what the women are saying. I'm like, I'm not finna spend a damn dime on a woman that's showing me she ain't worth my time. You know, so I'm like, when I first meet you, yeah, I'm gonna pay for the meal. Yeah, I'm gonna pay for whatever it is we do because I'm trying to get to know you. But I'm taking note too, and I might not even say second date, third date. It may be more of a feel with that person. But
Yeah.
at some point, I'm looking at you to see where are you with me and where this is going, and like, are you offering, like, because that tells me about your mentality. It has nothing to do with my money in my pockets. I've spent money on going out on dates and stuff, and I've changed my mentality. Like if you said it's an investment, it is an investment, and I don't like losing the return on my investment.
That's
And if
true.
and so I'm not gonna be putting all this money into going out with a woman, and then this woman is like, after a few months we done. Like, even with the vacation, that to me, that situation, it really depends on the situation. Like, if it's somebody that I met within a week and we get into a conversation, I'm like, yeah, that'd be nice if we went here. Yeah, she's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, in my mind, we going half and half because I just met you. I didn't really ask you. I brought up the idea and you agreed, and you was like,
Sound
okay,
like you
let's
asked
do it.
me.
I know, and that's probably how it would be taken. But my point is,
Right.
like, I'm not fit to spend all that money for us to go on a trip and we don't have no kind of like real substance to our relationship, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so that idea of, um like, I guess what I'm saying is, if you as a woman, if your mentality is you need to take care of me this way, then you can take care of your damn self, because I don't need to do nothing. What I need to do is make sure that we on the same page so we can be in this together. And however together means, that's what work.
Yeah.
Straight up,
If
because money.
if I
Oh, go
if I
ahead.
if I would love to be in a spot right now where I can pay for everything for my wife because I love her and that's what I want to give to her. But I'm not in that position. And me and my wife, we want things that one of us can't afford. So we put in money to be able to live a
Together.
certain way together,
Right.
you know. But I'm looking at these comments, they're like, I would never date a man where I got to pay the house note, where I got to do this and I got to pay this. My money is my money. He pay for everything. Well, I'm glad you found that shit.
Were they young? I
But
mean, but they're
They
probably
must.
young.
Yeah, they're
I know
probably young
what?
and they don't have
No.
anything to offer. If you
Yeah,
don't
and they
have
don't.
anything to offer, then
No, they not just young. It's, what do you mean?
It-
It's grandmas and great grandmas.
Well, but a lot of grandmas, that was the reality.
right.
Too many grandmas and great grandmothers that had to do anything. Now, their husbands probably had outside families that they were taking care of in addition, and had money for that family and them. But I don't know too many great grandmothers and grandmothers that paid bills. Now, some of them had to give up some power because they were held, on strings by things. But
If you was the at-home mother and stuff like that, then yeah, of course you didn't have to pay bills because a lot of people work, but because they had multiple kids, so the husband was out,
Well-
bringing the money back or whatever. But
yeah, well, they didn't have a choice because that was the role, and that was. So my thing is, I sometimes like it's generational, right? That was what they expected women to do. So
Yeah.
women are doing now, like what was read in his post, which I do think is ignorant, especially when you expect somebody to use all their money on you and you don't even have substance in a relationship. Like at that time, that's what it was. That was the gender role. The gender role was, I'm going to take care of you. You're going to not give me no lip, and you're going to take care of this home and these kids. And every blue moon, some of them did pick up little jobs here and there. May have been cooking or being a teacher, whatever was the gender job, nurses and things like that. But they still were subservient to the men. So so what I'm saying is those great grandparents and grandparents raised the parents that are. So the thing is, we're talking about the people that think this way, but it is still a cycle, that has been passed down because of gender roles.
straight up, yeah, I'm not spending my bread if you can't spend yours too. That
Yeah.
that's established from day one. Like,
Well, if it's
because to me-
established from day one,
Yeah.
oh,
And
I mean,
it's communication. No man has
Yeah.
ever told me that from day one.
it ain't no communication. If we ain't got,
Well, it
there's
should
nothing
be.
to communicate. No, it's not. I shouldn't be choking the shit out of you, right? I shouldn't be. Yeah, like I don't need. We don't got to communicate that.
Well, I
already know
communicated that with my husband. I told him, look, don't you ever put your hands on me because
I did too.
So it is. But see, the thing is that it is. Like I even see people talk about when they're in I can't say my words today. Black people married to white people. They're like, oh, now because of everything that's going on, we've had to have conversations, difficult conversations. Why the fuck wasn't that a conversation before anything happened?
In the
Yes, it
beginning.
is. I don't want my ass beat. I don't want my child touched on, we're gonna have these conversations. Some things should be a given, but they ain't. So if that means something to me, you not expecting all of my paycheck, we're gonna have that discussion.
Absolutely. I agree.
I mean, I
Yes.
agree. I agree that it should be conversations because so many people have these personalities, like not personalities. They raise a certain way. They had their beliefs and expectations. So I feel like it should be a conversation. I feel like when you had a conversation, it's up to you, depending on the relationship. I'm not gonna lie. I've had the conversation before day one because we just end up talking and it came up. Like sometimes you're talking to somebody and y'all having a good conversation. It goes a certain place and y'all talking and y'all not even really talking about each other. Y'all just talking about in general, and you find out things about the person. But I've also had a conversation with like, well, I'm like I was set up on a date with somebody I didn't know. Somebody wanted to introduce me to somebody. Well, I asked that person, "Hey, is she gonna pay for her stuff?" Because I'm like, I didn't ask you out. Your friend came to me, and she hooking us up. So I'm not gonna give you a free date, free dinner, free movie, free whatever we did.
Right.
And you be like, well, nah, I ain't really like him. Shit, I ain't like you either. I didn't even know what you look like. so, so you gonna come ready to pay for everything on your side. I'm gonna pay for everything on my side. Maybe after the first thing we do and we vibing, I'm like, nah, don't worry about dinner. I got dinner because we having a good time. But initially, you better be ready to pay. You know what I'm saying?
Why
So
she can't look good and can't be vibing and everything perfect and still pay for her own dinner?
no, she can. I'm just saying it's my choice. I may choose to do that. I'm just saying.
Right.
But I'm saying you need to come ready. Hell, I might want to pay, and at that point in life, I can't. You
Right.
need to be ready because
Yeah,
if
I
you're
do
not
believe in being ready.
We got
Yeah.
a problem. So
Definitely.
Stay ready. So you got to get ready. My dad always made sure that I had money in my pocket when I left the house. If I left in my own car or if I left with a boyfriend or some friends, he always made sure I had some money in my pocket just in case I needed to get home because some shenanigans were going on and I needed to get away or whatever. I always had money in my pocket. So when I leave the house, when my boys leave the house, they it's the same with them. They have money in their pockets just in case something crazy goes on. And it doesn't even have to be, she was acting crazy, so I had to get away. Whatever it is. So yes, you need to stay ready. Females need to stay ready with,
Yeah.
their own money. I don't know. I never had any expectations of a guy paying for me. It would be nice if he did, but I always was ready.
Ready
And
to
they,
do it
they
yourself.
usually said, most of the time it was, oh, I'm going to pay. I got this. And then I said, well, at least let me leave the tip or something like that. But I think it's foolish to think
Gina gone
yeah,
out.
yeah. I was wondering if
you
it was
all
just
do.
me or if it
Yeah, I
was.
thought it was me too. I was.
Hey, I wanted to say, if y'all was,
I told my
oh,
husband, oh,
you went out,
can
Gina.
y'all hear me now?
Now we
Yeah,
Oh,
can.
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
You
Um,
told your husband.
Oh, I told him at the very beginning, if don't ask me to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. And he said, I agree. Okay, that's
I
fine.
agree.
So if you're not gonna mop the floor, don't ask me to do it. We'll hire somebody to come in and do it. So and this is just like when we were dating. I made that clear. I'm not gonna do something that you're not willing to do yourself. So
What if he would have said that to you and he was like, if you ain't gonna change the oil, then don't ask me to change the oil.
Then she said, hire somebody to get it.
or hire somebody. But guess what? I know how to do a whole tune up and an oil change on my car. I know how to change a tire because my daddy told me how.
That's
You know
right.
what?
He'll
I
take
don't know
his
how to
car
do
in
that.
Big
before
ups to
I
the
take mine
daddies.
in. He'll take his car for service before I will because
You,
I know how to do that stuff.
you heard me?
Hey,
You say, you know what? I don't know how to do that shit.
you know what? You know what's crazy though? This ain't even a conversation for, and it's the same feeling, it's the same end result. But if one of your homegirls was to hit you up and say, what's up, girl? Let's go on a vacation or whatever. Let's just take a vacation, just the girls or whatever. You wouldn't be expecting her to pay your way just because she asked you or whatever.
Well,
If one of your homegirls asked you, let's go out to eat or something, you wouldn't be expecting her to pay for your meal.
But
We
see,
But
ain't
that's
dating.
But see, that's one of
Yeah.
the things
okay,
that the women. That's one of the things what the women said too. They was like, "Oh, if I'm gonna pay my half, then I might as well just call my girls up. We go on a girls trip."
Right.
yeah, call your girls up.
If I liked
Yeah.
if I liked women and a woman wanted to take me out, I probably would think that way. But you
But don't you see the problem, the moral conundrum?
no, but I do say this when my friends say let's go on a trip, they got an itinerary and this is how much you need to pay. It's everything's communicated. It ain't just like this is what we're gonna do. So not a oh hey let's go this is what we're gonna do June 3rd show up to the airport. It's none of that. It comes with, this is what you need to pay by then, and this is who you send it to. So then somebody says, oh, I can't do it. Then I may tell my homegirl, okay, well, I'll pay for half of it. Or if you get your ticket there, just eat off my plate once we get there. We've done these things before. So,
Or I'll see you on the next trip.
right, or the next trip. But we do have times where we have to look out for our girls. It's brunches where a girl say, "Oh, I can't. That's not in the budget." Girl, I just want to see you. Come on, let's come on. So it's just not spoken, but we do those things too. But no, I don't expect my girl. I understand it's a double standard, but I'm all for double standards. I'm okay. I mean, well, not all the time, but I will say this: when people say, "Oh, that's a double standard," I have to take ownership. There's some double standards I'm okay with, and it is what it is. I think a lot of people just like to say, "No, I'm fair." I'm not fair, but neither is favor. So.
Well, that's good that you acknowledge.
Amen.
At least you're self-conscious.
Yeah. So if you was like, like seeing a guy, I ain't gonna say dating, I ain't gonna say serious. Y'all was talking, you kind of liked him, but it was in early stages, and and you was like, hey, I want to go out, because he been taking care of stuff, right? And he say, I want to like meet you for brunch, like you said with your girls, and he say, well, nah, I'm kind of low in the pockets, maybe another time, and you say, nah, I just want to see you, I pay for it. Is that something you would have done?
Oh yeah, I've done it. Yeah. I've done it before.
So
but but I've had some immature moments when I was young too. Because my husband, he'll tell you, and I don't know, I had it on our wedding website. We dated probably like 17 years before we reconnected and got married. And our first date was like, we just went to Popeyes, and I bring it up to this day. I judged him because he didn't pay for my Popeyes. His friend did. Now I don't know if he didn't have any money. I don't know. And we kind of, hey. We kind of, and when I look back at it, it's just like we kind of just went to Popeyes. It wasn't like, oh, let's, Ebony, I'm going to take you out, and we ended up at Popeyes. But my thing is, at that time, I judged him. I was like, look at this motherfucker. Here, he can't do it. His homeboy. I definitely did. And I was like, I don't like him. Now probably 17 years later, he tells me what it really was and all of that. But my mentality was way different then. And like I said, most people aren't taught the proper way to date. And that's what I want to do with my children. Like I require that they date before they leave my house, because I'm just like, I don't want you going out with these assumptions and thinking that you're putting your happiness and well-being in someone else's hands, so
we all
messed up.
We all put effort into the money that we make or whatever. We trade time for money or whatnot. So if I'm trading my time for money and I'm trying to stack and build and stuff like that or whatever, and you doing the same thing, then we should have the same fiscally responsible type mentality when it comes to dating and stuff like that or whatever. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but it should be. You should understand that I worked hard for my money, just like you work hard for your money, and it should be a mutual respect or whatnot. It don't matter who asks who out. Just because I ask you out don't mean that I should pay. Just because you ask me out don't mean that I should pay. You know what I'm saying?
I think it should be communication. But when I was 19 and 20, I wasn't thinking about stacking and building. I wasn't thinking about stacking and building.
No, I didn't.
I was thinking about.
No, I didn't.
Go ahead, Ebony. Yeah, we can hear you. We just
go back and listen.
Go ahead.
But you said we're trading our time for money, which I totally agree. But that's the thought process I developed later on in life, to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing with my money and what I want with my money. I don't think at that, my younger age, and I know you said there's some people that were of older ages that were making these same idiotic comments, in my opinion, idiotic. But I wasn't thinking that way in my early 20s. I was just like, shoot, we finna go to Papa Do's, So I think it's a mentality shift when you want more for your life. And it's not about age, because I know some people that are young that have that wealth building mindset, but I did not always have that. So I wasn't thinking about that. I'm thinking that what you want something from me. And so therefore it's like, you're going to pay for this meal. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say those kind of things, but that's whether it was my time, whether you want to kiss, whatever it was, I felt like you're going to show out or invest or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I've grown. So no, I don't think that, but I do think that everybody should go in communicating and saying, hey, this is where I'm at. Because some people have told me, hey, I'm dating because I'm looking for a wife. At that time, I wasn't looking for a husband. So they told me that, so I didn't waste their time. So if I'm telling you I just want a meal, I just want friends, and I'm dating other people, now I've always let people know that I'm dating other people. So then you can choose to say, oh, well then you're getting a lot of meals, so I'm not paying for you. You know that you can make that you can make that choice because I've always been honest. I don't think a lot of people are honest, and they go into everything with expectations. So
Every
Yeah.
time I hear somebody like with some type of backwards thinking or whatever, or what I consider backwards thinking, I ask them, like where did you get that thought process from? And every single time it's from their mama and their grandma, or a combination of both, or one or the other.
I had backwards thinking. It didn't come from my mama,
But
grandmother. It hadn't.
but
I wasn't taught.
you
Yeah.
know, and I understand. Honestly, I think I understand why that may be, because I feel like that young woman that got that teaching from a mom or grandma, they're teaching them a mentality that they actually didn't have when they were young. They're trying to get them to be better off because they probably feel like if they would have been younger, they would have did things different. You know, there was like there's a lot of black women particularly who weren't taken care of by men that they were with, or the men left them and they were like, you got to be able to take care of yourself. You got to be able to make sure that you know, you don't need anybody in this world. And I think that that is a whole nother conversation that we can have one day, because a lot of our black women are raised a certain way because of the construct, because of the dynamic of being single mothers, and our black men as a whole having, you know, not being there for them and as a family, you know. And not saying that single mothers don't get support all the time from dads that are not in the house. You have a lot of dads that take care of their kids, but I'm talking about the ones that don't get that support from the dad. So I think that probably, if you were to dig even deeper, that's probably more where that came from.
Nah, it's Disney fault. It's Disney fault because Disney taught y'all about Prince Charming and all of this, you know, to look for this guy that's gonna be your savior, gonna save you from the dragon. He gonna slay the dragon and all of this other. He gonna be perfect. He gonna have the beautiful hair and golden locks. His hair gonna be blowing in the wind. So y'all think that every man is supposed to be Prince Charming and stuff like that. That's
I
not.
don't think we think that because, yeah, Disney, it does give us fairy tales, but a lot of us grew up in environments where it wasn't Disney. Disney may have been our escape, but I do think that a lot of it has to do with ignorance, and some of it does have to do with what we were taught based on seeing women have to become more independent, you know. But it's a whole, you know, it's levels to it. So I think it is definitely a good conversation.
What if he ain't slaying dragons? What if he's slaying these streets and stuff
Hey,
like
I'm gonna
Well,
that?
say this.
they
If
slaying something, that pipe.
I'm gonna say this, and figuratively speaking, but you can plug in the reality of it if you want. If me and my wife, if we, you know, out and we see a dragon, she better get her heels off and be ready to run, because I ain't stepping in front of the dragon about to slay nothing. And you take that however you want to. So we about to get into a fight. Let's go, babe, because I ain't got time to fight. Like I'm not there in life no more. I don't want to fight. Like, please, because my wife, she listen. Candy, you listening? Don't start the stuff. Okay, don't start the stuff. Don't start it. I
But I
want us.
also, I bet she believes that if you have no choice, like if you can't walk away, if you're in the,
She know I'm gonna do
she
that.
know,
Yeah, she
and
know.
yeah, so that's the thing. We don't want you to make a decision that where we have to bury you,
Like
but we
these
want
See,
Karens.
the
that
thing
you
is,
go.
is like sometimes, and I'm gonna say women, because my experiences are making me say this. I'm not talking about in general. I'm just talking about from my experiences. Some Many times I've seen, and I have actually been a part of situations where women make the shits happen. They started, not my wife. She's never done that, but I'm talking about prior to that, where they make the mess happen, and 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 I've seen this where the dude get his ass whooped because of that.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been a part of
Facts.
that situation, but if I was, woo, that ain't gonna be good when we get home. As far as like how I'm gonna be treating her, and you know how I'm gonna be feeling for a
How
while.
she gonna be treating you? Because you can't even tell her nothing. You ain't tell Tyrone to go watch the beat.
Like, that's messed up. You start the mess, you know, and now you got your ass whooped. And then you go home and now you still ain't a man because you can't even protect your wife. But you got your ass whooped because your wife is the one who couldn't leave the situation alone.
What you want to
Started
say,
it.
Regina?
Nothing. I just think it's funny. I saw a skit on Key and Peele. Have you ever watched
Oh
that
yeah.
show?
Yeah.
And it was the same situation. Somebody called the girl a bitch, and and he had to fight, and every single time he got his ass whooped. It was
All my life,
hilarious.
I got to
Look,
Yeah.
in a
prove my
situation
love.
like that, if me and my wife out and somebody call my wife a bitch, it's gonna be words. You know what I'm saying? And it might end up in a fight if it's one on one. But if he with his boys and he acting big and bad, because you know a lot of times dudes, that's how they do it. They only do that stuff when they got their back up with them. I'm not stupid. I'm gonna say something, but I'm not fenced to get into no fight with you. We
What
gonna walk
what
away. That's what's gonna
what if
happen. We gonna
what
walk
if
away.
it's what if the dude is your daddy?
Damn it, you
Hey,
always
bro.
got these scenarios.
I mean, my dad listens to the
Instigated.
podcast too. Dad, if you ever call Candy a bitch, we fighting.
I'm
Right,
just trying
protect
to,
your woman.
We fighting.
I just gotta throw that wrench in there. I gotta see what happens, man.
Now I'm put it on mom and say, Mom, you gonna let him talk to my wife like that? Nah. Nah.
Nah, that's
Good
crazy.
conversation.
Wow.
Good conversation. Y'all got anything else? I think we running low on time.
Nothing else.
So at the end of the day, we ain't figured out nothing. It's still gonna be girls that's gonna want dudes to pay for everything, and it's gonna be dudes like me that's gonna be like, I'll pay for some things at the beginning,
Of
but
course,
then
that's how it's gonna be. You're gonna have level-headed women. You're gonna have women who are fair-minded and like Regina and
compromise.
Ebony and compromise. I feel like that is how it's supposed to be. The way that they explain how they approach situations that's nothing wrong with that. And
It took growth.
and I
Yeah,
don't
it is growth.
I don't even think anything is wrong with put it like this. I'm one of these now, and the way I feel about people now is whatever you want for yourself, that's fine.
Yeah.
What's the,
Your
what's
what's
the, I,
best for you.
Just don't project that onto other people. Like the women that's making these comments, if that's fine that you feel that way, but stop trying to make it seem like something wrong with men that don't want to
Other
do
people
that
that
shit.
don't do that. Right,
That's
right.
the
Look,
problem I have is because the comments are like directed. Like I'm a man sitting here reading this who make a good salary, who has 2 master's degrees and a bachelor's, who's taught at the collegiate level, who can do whatever I want. If I decide I want to go back and get a doctorate as at a medical professional, I can do that. I'm intelligent enough. I know I could do that. My choices are based on what I wanted. But to
Right.
sit here and read that pisses me off because it's like you're saying, because I'm the type of man that wants in a relationship to be 50-50, that is in a relationship like that I'm less of a man or I'm broke. Get the hell out of here. Like if we
Well,
was
man,
having a conversation like in general, I probably would have started cussing their ass out.
on the
That's
flip
that's how
side,
mad I was. You know what I'm saying? Like read some of that stuff.
it's crazy. I've had women pay for me, like try to, like literally, like first, second, third date. Let me buy you this. I done bought you clothes, and I had to put a halt on that. Like, man, we don't got to do that.
Oh,
Gotta-
oh, that's so
Oh,
sweet.
they wanted to buy you. You were
No,
for sale.
I
But
had
can
the
I tell
same
y'all
thing. I had the same thing.
But can
Go
I
ahead.
Damien, I'm gonna take you out after this COVID. I'm gonna take you out because I remember about 10 years ago.
You owe me, don't you?
Yeah, because there was a drink. Can I tell you about this? We all went out to eat. We went to Cyclone Anaya's, and a drink. I just got an extra drink. It was on his bill. I didn't rectify it. Do you know how many years I had to hear about that? Like,
This is my, this is my,
cousin. This is my cousin.
this
I'm
is my,
like,
and I'm like, this my cousin, and she doing me like this.
man, I'm like, it's just a drink. So since he made such a big deal about it, I was like, and they ain't had no cash yet back then. I was like, man, he just
Now,
get over that. But I've been hearing it for about a decade, so I'm going to make amends for that. I'm sorry.
I'm,
I expected you to pay for that drink because you are my big male cousin. I expected that, so I'm not gonna do that no more.
see, that's you ain't do your female cousins like that. That's
You're
crazy.
right. You're right. I've grown.
So this is her mind. If you a man means money.
Yeah, you need to
And
pay.
money.
You need to pay, but I've grown up, so I'm sorry.
That's what's up, man. This is Acoustic Chef, man. We love y'all. Keep
again,
what?
again, like, share.
Like,
That's what I was
share,
saying before I
subscribe.
was rudely interrupted.
Oh, my bad. I
I'm telling y'all
apologize.
to like,
I-
share, and subscribe before Capel interrupted me, man. We appreciate y'all. Y'all keep rocking with us.
Yeah.
Rocking
Absolutely.
with y'all. We're gonna keep supporting y'all. Y'all see we put on for our community. If y'all have if y'all want to promote, the things that y'all have going on in life as well,
Send it
man,
to
hit
us.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yep.
Cool.
This is Acoustic Chef.
Yeah, have a
Peace
good day.
out.
We out.